Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly's relationship was a Hollywood roller coaster, full of passion, chaos, and headlines. From bizarre rituals to intense public declarations of love, they weren't just a couple, they were a spectacle. Fans thought their love was unbreakable, until it wasn't. Now, they've officially broken up, and the real reason. It goes way deeper than just another celebrity split. Megan Fox didn't just leave MGK. She left behind a version of herself that she no longer recognized. So, what really happened? Was it MGK's intense personality? Did Megan outgrow the relationship? Or was it something more complex? Stay with me as we break it all down, because trust me, this story isn't just about Hollywood gossip. It's about love, loss, and the struggle to hold onto yourself when you're drowning in someone else's world. The beginning. An all-consuming love story. Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly met on the set of Midnight in the Switchgrass in 2020. From the moment they locked eyes, it was like a scene from a romantic movie, except this wasn't fiction. Megan described their connection as instant and magnetic, calling MGK her twin flame. She believed they were destined to be together, bound by something supernatural. And that intensity, it wasn't just for show. From the very start, their love was extreme. They weren't just dating, they were merging into one identity. MGK admitted in interviews that meeting Megan saved his life, and she reciprocated by saying she had never experienced anything like their bond. They drank each other's blood, literally, claiming it was a sacred ritual. They got matching tattoos, wrote each other deep love letters, and even designed an engagement ring that would hurt to take off. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Well, here's the problem. When love is too intense, it can start to feel suffocating. Passion turns into obsession. Devotion turns into dependence. And Megan, once known for her strong, independent persona, started fading into MGK's chaotic world. Megan Fox's identity crisis. Who was she anymore? Megan Fox has never been the kind of woman to live in anyone's shadow. She made a name for herself in Hollywood long before she met MGK, starring in Transformers and becoming a pop culture icon. But something changed when she got into this relationship. Fans started noticing that Megan wasn't just with MGK. She was transforming into someone who existed for him. She changed her aesthetic to match his edgy, punk rock persona. Her social media presence became almost entirely about him. Interviews that were once about her career and passions suddenly revolved around their relationship. And while supporting your partner is natural, losing yourself in the process is not. Megan went from being a self-assured, outspoken actress to someone who seemed trapped in an identity that wasn't fully her own. It wasn't just love, it was absorption. She wasn't Megan Fox anymore. She was Machine Gun Kelly's twin flame. Here's the real kicker. When someone starts losing themselves in a relationship, they eventually reach a breaking point. And for Megan, that moment was coming fast. The warning signs. Was their love always doomed? For those who were paying attention, the cracks in Megan and MGK's relationship had been forming for a while. Sure, they still made public appearances, but something was off. The couple who once couldn't stop gushing about each other now seemed tense. Remember Super Bowl weekend in 2023? That was the first major red flag. Megan wiped all traces of MGK from her Instagram and posted cryptic lyrics from Beyoncé's Pray You Catch Me, a song famously linked to cheating. The internet went wild with speculation. Had MGK been unfaithful? Was this the beginning of the end? But here's the truth. It wasn't about another woman. It was about Megan feeling emotionally done. She had given so much of herself to this relationship, constantly pouring her energy into keeping it afloat. She was exhausted. And that social media purge, that was her silent scream for help. Couples therapy, public reconciliation attempts, and staged appearances couldn't change the inevitable. Megan was reaching her limit. MGK's emotional baggage, a heavy load to carry. Machine Gun Kelly has never shied away from discussing his battles with mental health, addiction, and past traumas. His openness has been both a strength and a burden. While vulnerability can create deep emotional connections, it can also place an enormous weight on the people closest to him. For Megan Fox, this weight became overwhelming. Sources close to the actress have revealed that she often felt like she was responsible for MGK's emotional well-being. Instead of just being his romantic partner, she found herself playing the role of his caretaker, his rock, and sometimes even his therapist. At first, she embraced the role with love and compassion. She wanted to help him heal, to be a safe space where he could express himself without judgment. But over time, the balance in their relationship started shifting. It was no longer a partnership. It was a one-sided dynamic where Megan was constantly giving, while MGK was unintentionally taking. Relationships thrive on mutual support, but there's a fine line between helping someone and carrying them. Megan wasn't just supporting MGK through his struggles, she was absorbing them, making them her own burden. She was the one trying to calm him down during his emotional breakdowns, reassuring him when his insecurities flared up, and keeping the relationship stable even when MGK's unpredictable behavior made things chaotic. But here's the problem. Love isn't supposed to feel like a job. When one person is always the giver and the other is always in need, resentment starts to build. Megan wasn't just MGK's lover. She was his emotional anchor, his safe haven. And when you spend so much time trying to save someone else, you eventually start losing yourself. Megan's breaking point came when she realized that she was neglecting her own needs in the process. She had spent so much time taking care of MGK that she barely had time to check in with herself. Was she happy? Was she fulfilled? Or was she just running on empty, constantly pouring into someone else's cup while hers remained dry? The harsh truth hit her. She couldn't keep carrying the weight of MGK's struggles on her shoulders. Love should be about support, not sacrifice. And Megan was sacrificing far too much of herself in the process. The breaking point. Choosing herself over the relationship. There comes a moment in every strained relationship when one person has to ask themselves, is this still making me happy? For Megan, that moment was long overdue. She had spent years in the whirlwind of her romance with MGK, losing sight of who she was outside of their relationship. And when she finally took a step back to evaluate her happiness, the answer was clear. She wasn't. That realization wasn't easy. Megan still loved MGK, but she knew that love alone wasn't enough to keep her fulfilled. She had to choose herself this time. Leaving a relationship isn't always about falling out of love. Sometimes, it's about recognizing that love shouldn't come at the cost of your own well-being. And that's exactly what Megan realized. She wasn't walking away because she didn't care. She was walking away because she needed to care about herself again. It's one of the hardest choices anyone can make in a relationship. Prioritizing your own happiness over the love you have for someone else. But the truth is, real love should never require you to lose yourself in the process. And Megan had finally reached her limit. What's next for Megan and MGK? Now that the relationship is officially over, both Megan and MGK are navigating their own paths forward. For Megan, this breakup marks a new beginning. She's refocusing on her career, rekindling old friendships, and rediscovering the parts of herself that got lost in the intensity of her relationship. She's realizing that love should enhance who you are, not erase you. And for the first time in a long time, she's putting herself first. As for MGK, he's been pouring his heartbreak into his music. His artistic expression has always been deeply personal, and this breakup has given him new material to explore. Whether it's through melancholic lyrics or emotional performances, he's using his pain as fuel for his next chapter. But the big question remains, will he learn from this experience? Many fans are still holding on to hope for a reunion, but let's be honest. Some love stories aren't meant to last forever. Some are meant to teach us lessons, to help us grow and to show us what we need or don't need in a relationship. And maybe that's what Megan and MGK were to each other, a lesson in love, loss, and the importance of self-preservation. Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly's breakup isn't just another Hollywood split. It's a powerful reminder that love shouldn't cost you yourself. Relationships should be about balance, not obsession. And if you ever find yourself fading into someone else's world, maybe it's time to ask, is this love, or am I just losing myself? So, what do you think? Was their love always doomed? Or do you believe they'll find their way back to each other? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the most shocking celebrity breakups.